Hi, everybody. This is the Baseball Hood, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, welcome back to the Baseball Hood 2. Hope you like this video and hit that subscribe button. We're going to go through the MLB Power Rankings according to CBS Sports. We're not going to get too in-depth with this. We're 2 days away from the opening salvo, the 2025 season. This is going to be a fun year, I think, for a lot of teams, including our Mets, and I think that we're going to have a very interesting finish. Interesting, really. MLB Power Rankings. Dodgers Open 2025 is best team, but is that the same as World Series favorite? Well, they were favorites last year and they won. Now I'm just going to skip to their list and let the cards, the chips fall where they may. All right, where is number one? Who's number one? Well, they actually did a rundown. At number one, I disagree with some of this stuff. At number one, the Los Angeles Dodgers. They didn't have Mookie Betts or Freddie Freeman, and I think you could argue they didn't play all that well in the Tokyo series. They won 2 games and outscored the Cubs 10-4. The Cubs are not going to be that good. I know they made some moves, but we'll see what they have to say. Number 2, and of course the Dodgers are going to be there. I guess my prediction will be the Dodgers and some other team in the World Series. I was going to say the Yankees, but the Yankees have had so many injuries to their team. It is a crapshoot in the American League. Number 2, with the surprise, is the Philadelphia Phillies. Jordan Romano and Jose Alvarado are putting on a regular season preview in the spring. The Phillies have a stellar bullpen behind a stud rotation with a powerful lineup. That's a lot of positives, but they've not won. You've got to win when you have all those cards down there, and they haven't won yet. And the Mets beat them. I mean, they won the division last year, and the Mets beat them rather handily. Next up, the Atlanta Braves. Now, I would mention the Braves did nothing this offseason. They really did nothing. I mean, really. They didn't make any moves. They expect that Spencer Strider will be back. Ron Acuna Jr. is not coming back until May. They put them number 3, which I was very surprised about. Again, another team the Mets beat. And I would mention this about the Mets beating them in Atlanta in that doubleheader. That's the one time I can remember the Mets winning a game that important in Atlanta in the history of the last 30-something years. So that cannot be overlooked. And then number 3, this is the Braves. Number 4, the Rangers. I've gotten so high on the Rangers team in the last several weeks that I'm worried it's gotten to be too much. Maybe I need to back off. Well, first of all, Jacob deGrom has to stay healthy. He has to stay healthy, amongst many things. They have to match his innings because he hasn't pitched a lot in the last 5 years. He hasn't pitched a full season since 2019. And he's always dealing with Nixon. He's always dealing with all these little bruises. This guy still throws 100. It's crazy. But the Rangers should be much better than they were last year. They had sort of they sort of enjoying themselves, a little drunk from the champagne from the year before. They got a great manager. They'll be fine. They'll probably win the division. Next up, number 5, the Arizona Diamondbacks. Another team that did not make the postseason, by the way. Now, they brought in Josh Naylor. They brought in Corbin Burns, which is a big deal. But they're still having issues with Jordan Montgomery. There's still talk they might move. They moved them to the bullpen, by the way. I would not have them number 5 on this list. Very surprising. Very weird spot. And they didn't make postseason. Now, number 6 is the Mets. I certainly don't think the plan for a World Series hopeful should be for a converted reliever to serve as the opening day start. But maybe some of that Stearns magic will play. It's only opening day. It's only the first game of the season. If this is the reason why I guess he dropped them down on the list. If this is what you're saying is why you dropped them on the list, that's very short-sighted. Because Clay Holmes is going to be on an innings limit, and the Mets will be playing around with that all year with him. To be honest with you. Next up, and the Mets have Soto. Let's have a great lineup, and the bullpen should be much, much better in the back end around Diaz. Next up, at number 7, Houston Astros. And the Mets will be opening the season against Houston on Thursday. Spencer Arganetti or Hunter Brown a bigger breakout candidate. There's still plenty to like on this team. They're going to be there. They'll be in contention, but they're not who they used to be. They're not where they used to be. That's for sure. Number 8, which I'm very surprised that they're so high on this list, is the Red Sox. So I'm assuming this guy's saying the Red Sox are going to win the division. I put them there. The meteoric rise here was simply a case where I reflected on my early rankings and changed my mind about this team. The signing of Alex Bregman was definitely not enough to vault them up so many spots. Not in and of itself. It was a big deal, though. I would not put the Red Sox at number 1 in the division. And certainly not ahead of the Orioles and the Yankees. I would say they'll probably finish 3rd, and they'll be contending for a playoff spot. That's how I look at it. The Baltimore Orioles did absolutely nothing in this offseason. Nothing. They'll be contending with the division because their lineup is so good. You know. The Yankees, they've fallen 6 spots on this. It's the biggest drop at number 10. Garrett Cole injury is a disaster. John Carlos Stanton's injury is a disaster. And even though they got Max Fried, they're going to be contending with the division. But then going to the World Series is very murky. It's a real crapshoot who's going to win the World Series, who's going to win the division, the pennant in the American League. At number 11, the Mariners. They did nothing. Why they're so high, I can't imagine. But they're 3rd in their division. Have no offense. Pathetic. Number 12, the Cubs. They did some interesting things. Interesting. This is the first National League West Central team, but I don't think they're going to win the division there. Still, my money's on the Brewers and on the Reds, to be honest with you. The Reds are more talented than them, you know. Number 13, the Padres. The National League West is going to be good this year. It's been good. They're going to be good. The Padres will be good, and they'll have like the last year Dylan Cecil see of what they do there. And number 14. The Kansas City Royals. I think they have a shot to win in the division there. They got one of the best players in the game, Bobby Wood Jr. They have a good chance to win the division. Next up is the Guardians. Again, they're always good. The Tigers, I think, will be better than the Guardians. I think the Tigers will be in the postseason. The Guardians might be on the outside looking in. Number 17, we had the Brewers. I think they'll be much better than that. And I think they'll be able to handle losing Devin Williams. They don't care about their closers. They get rid of them very quickly. And I think they have Joey Ortiz as a pretty good replacement for Willie Adames. The Twins are 18th on this list. I don't think the Twins are going to be that good. The Blue Jays are going to finish last. They're 19. The Rays, I think, will finish 3rd or 4th. They're homeless. They don't have a ballpark. At number 21, the Giants. They got an old team. They got a very old team. Number 22, the Reds. They should be much, much higher than this. They have a great manager, Hall of Fame manager. I think Ellie De La Cruz is going to have a big year. He's going to have an MVP type year. I really do. They should be much higher on this list, and I think they're going to be quite good. I mean, I really do. They won, 79, 78 games last year? They're going to have a winning season. And they're going to certainly be contending for a wild card. Next up, the Cardinals. The number 22. The Cardinals are going to be bad, folks. They're going to be really bad, the Cardinals. They could finish in last. That's how bad the Cardinals could be. The Pirates, another team that did absolutely nothing this offseason. Brought in no position player talent. Pathetic. Great young pitching staff, but don't do squat with their team. Number 25, the Nationals. They'll probably finish in last, but they're not going to be that bad. Speaking of bad, the Angels are going to be bad. They're going to be finishing last. Then we have the homeless A's, the other homeless team in Major League Baseball, the Athletics. I expect them to have a good offense, to be better than they were last year, possibly win 70, 75 games. The Marlins are the bad team. They're just sitting there till Sandy Alcantara's ready to pitch and is able to get moved. They're going to finish dead last. The Colorado Rockies, number 29. They're another team. They're the worst team in the National League. And then finally, again, the worst team in baseball, the Chicago White Sox. How many games they're going to lose? It's more like how many games they're going to lose. It's not really how many games they're going to win. How many games they're going to lose. They're going to lose a lot of games. I say 100 games, folks. I think they'll be a little better than last year. You can't be any worse than last year. So they won, 41 and 121? Most losses in the history of baseball. I think they can lose 110. I think that's an improvement. They have no talent. They have nothing. They have nothing. We'll see what kind of return they got for Garrett Crochet from the Red Sox. Boy, they're terrible. And they just picked up Mike Vassell, some former Met prospect, who got basically skadooshed out of Boston. Boy, that's terrible. They're terrible. Historically bad. How Major League Baseball's allowed that to happen there, what's happened to the A's, and the fact the Rays have not gotten the ballpark in a bad place and not been able to move. It's all on Major League Baseball to have all this stuff going on with all these bad teams. The Rockies, the Marlins, the A's. The Angels should have gotten sold. The Pirates should spend money. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Well, you let me know what you think about this video. Hit the subscribe button for the Baseball Head 2, and I'll see you later.